it's Kathy, and I'm back with another Presses video, and this is my first one of 2018, and it's also my first one in a long time that was not a holiday Christmas one, so yay! Not that I don't mind doing them, I just kind of got, I guess, a little, I don't know, bored or maybe tired of doing them, and it was starting to wear on my creativity just for a little bit, and I thought that, you know, it's 2018 and I'm totally going to start the year with a bang with process videos. Not so much. This does not end up being a layout, at least halfway through, it was not a layout I was very happy with. I am okay with the turnout afterwards. But I do a few things that I end up kind of regretting, and I couldn't really take back without starting all over again, and I was not about to do that because I just don't like wasting stuff. Like, I'm very hard pressed to make a background or something and then not end up using it. Usually I will eventually. So you can see what I did there was I cut out a star, and it was just from a piece of brown cardstock, and it was a color that I was probably never going to use, so why not use it for this? And I used it as a stencil. I took two different colors of ink. One was gold, one was called Rocket Red. I only used it sparingly, like I did not use a lot of it. I just wanted a different color to kind of accent it. So put that around with the eraser of a pencil, though you could do it with anything, but I just wanted that kind of round, and it was really hard. Apparently I am not the kind of person that keeps pencils in my house, or at least my pencils are mostly the Color-Ace pencils, which are animator, illustrator-y type pencils, so they're more for drawing, and they don't necessarily have erasers on them anymore because use them a lot. So anyway, anywho, so I created that little kind of stamped effect, and then I decided, instead of just leaving it a blank white star in the middle, that I would put a piece of paper in the middle, and I chose the Dear Lizzie Stargazer collection, and this whole layout kind of was inspired by the Stargazer collection in the sense that I had the chipboard near me, and I noticed there was a piece that said "Count the Stars," and I remembered this picture of my daughter, and it was from like a few years ago, and it was in her Star Wars dress, and we're kind of a big Star Wars kind of family here. I mean, she's only 5 now, so she's still a little young for it. But she does enjoy some of it. We actually just went this weekend to see The Last Jedi, so we took her. It was a little, like, I don't like taking a 5-year-old to the movies, especially a long movie. I knew what was going to happen, and sure enough, like, it did happen. But, oh well, it's, you know, it's a family experience, so they all can't be great. Some of them can try our patience, but oh well, we get through them. So I'm just kind of backing my photos. I originally, you know, I didn't even need to really back my photos, to tell you the truth. They would have worked fine otherwise, but I decided to. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that, like offset it or anything like that, but I just decided to stick it kind of right on top. And my other thing with this layout was there's a Dear Lizzie Stargazer paper that's navy blue with a bunch of shooting stars on it, and I have the 12 by 12, and I really wanted to put all of this on the 12 by 12. So that's kind of the other spot where this all came, like where it came from. The idea of it was to somehow get this background onto somehow get this design onto that paper. And originally I was just going to use it as a border paper, and it does not really work the way I want it to. I am doing some lines around the star just on the outside, kind of where the stamping is, and I actually really like how this doodling turns out. I really do like doodling on my layouts, just adding little lines or little stars or something to it that's just kind of that little extra. Because, I mean, I could have stitched and it would have worked as well, but I really like the contrast of the dark black doodling. As far as the pictures go, they're just like an everyday picture. So this is just one of those everyday moment kind of layouts. It doesn't really have a rhyme or reason to it. I just thought it was cute. The pictures are not the greatest quality. And I tried to fix them as much as I could to make them nice. But in those cases, I find altering some of the brightness and the contrast and then keeping the pictures relatively small can help when you have like poor lighting, and so no matter how good your camera is, it doesn't take a very great shot. So as you can see, I'm trying to do this border and I'm realizing how kind of boring that's going to be because there's just so much white paper left around it, and what am I going to do with it? And I thought, well, why don't I just cut the star out? And I didn't realize how close to the actual star I was going to have to cut this to have that white border work, where the tips of the stars would actually be pointed and not just going off the page. So I guess that's kind of where I screwed up. Was I thought I was going to have more white paper as a border to work with, and then I'm looking at it going like, there's just so much background paper and there's not anything else going on, and what can I do for that? So I decided to line it with another paper, and so I'm just going to cut a border out of this paper, and that paper is from Dear Lizzie Saturday. Just because of what I was doing with the paper, I didn't want to go and grab something that was like my favorite. I just wanted something with a bit of a pattern on it. It had a stripe, so of course it only works in some areas, and some other areas you don't really see the stripe all that well. And after I was done that, I still wasn't satisfied. It was too plain, I guess. I felt like it still needed something else before I put it on the background. So I'm cutting a fringe, and I mean, it's not a perfect fringe because I had to take into account cutting the tips of the stars. So, you know, either way, it just kind of, it added texture, I guess. And I don't know, for some reason, that's just kind of a thing like I'm all about. And I've mentioned it before, so you guys who watch my videos know that I just always really like to add texture to my layouts and unusual things, and I grab random things off my desk. So, for instance, that chipboard frame, which I couldn't remember what a frame was called there for a second, was sitting on my desk. I think it was from Snow and Cocoa or something like that. Quite honestly, it was just a piece of chipboard that didn't get put back in with the rest of its little friends. And then I decided, well, I need something else going on under this star. And originally I was going to put ribbon all the way around it, like sticking out. That definitely would not have been a good idea. That would have ended poorly. I would have been frustrated. I know I would have. So I gathered a few different types of ribbon from my ribbon stash that is a massive stash considering I don't really use ribbon a whole lot. And half the ribbons I have I don't even like, so I don't know why I bought them. I see ribbon and I can't help but buy it, and I'm like, what am I going to use it for? I don't know, I just like it, it's pretty. So I'm using some of them, different thicknesses, and I kind of made a little shooting star tail. It's obviously very, very tiny because the star is taking up the majority of the room. So there's the big chipboard piece that inspired the whole layout, and I'm trying to figure out where else to put this other little shooting star that I want to use that's chipboard, because I don't want it to be directly opposite of the tail of my shooting star, except I think I do end up eventually putting it there. I just can't find any place else that I like it. That piece that says magical is actually from Paige Evans' Turn the Page collection. And I think I push it down enough that instead of it saying magical, it just says magic. I don't know why. I just thought, you know, I mean, it's not that Star Wars has magic in it, but there is something kind of fun about that kind of fantasy world and dreaming about that kind of stuff, or, you know, having a role model that's a princess in a galaxy and that type of thing. And yeah, like I didn't grow up with Star Wars. Like I think I saw it more when I was a slightly older, like maybe not quite teens, obviously, because I mean it I think the last one, either the second one or the last one, came out the year I was born. I can't remember which one. So obviously I wasn't seeing them brand new, but they've been very big for me since then. You know, they're just, I don't know. And it's like, it's one of those things that obviously I'm passing down to my kids. My love and my husband's love of the movies and all that kind of stuff. And he knows so much about the canon, of Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. I'm not as knowledgeable on that, but I don't really need to embellish a whole lot with this because there's so much going on already. There's a lot of pattern. There's a lot to look at. There's definitely different textures. So I don't feel the need to go crazy. I want the star to still show and be a star. If I cover it too much, it loses what it is, essentially. So it needs to kind of just stay a star. I'm also bringing in a few little like phrase stickers, and I made sure one of them was navy blue, and I think I put in some navy blue puffy sticker as well. And I'm just trying to have some navy blue in other areas other than just the background, and I find it kind of helps break up that big middle light section when I have the navy blue going in other places. I popped everything I could up on different pop dots and things like that, just because I don't want them sticking back down onto the layout and looking kind of silly. So anything that needed to be was popped up on pop dots. I just put a few little stars around some of the pictures and just in different places, just for a little extra something. I put a little copper or rose gold star on top of regular stars around the layout, just 3. So it's really not something you can even necessarily see in the picture, but it's something you would see when looking at the layout, like in front of you. This is my secondary title, I guess, or my first title. I'm not really sure which one I'm going with, but I'm writing Little Leia in Maggie Holmes Carousel clear outline stickers, and I kind of like these. They're a little bigger than I was thinking I would want to go with them, but I didn't want something that was like a dark block, tiny font like the mini markets or anything. So anyway, I just stick it there so that if I decided to, I could put journaling around the edges of the stars. I'm just not sure what I want to do journaling wise yet. And I actually put in 2 of those little sewing pins because, I don't know, I'm kind of back into them now, and maybe it's because they're on my desk. I don't know. So now I keep using them. But I think they're kind of cute there, and they're not two-dimensional. They're not very dimensional, so it's not really a big deal. I'm using Heidi Swap Color Shine Mint, and then that's it. So pictures are coming up. I will see you guys all in the next video, and have an awesome day.